Well, thank you for joining us here today on a Monday morning. I'm Marlin Bohling with you. Well, markets are trading, and let's see if they are showing any sense of direction since we took our first look. Let's go to the big board, take a look at the corn market here so far this morning. Okay, here we go with a look at May corn. Keep in mind, we had a sale of 112,800 tons of corn to unknown destinations announced this morning, and May corn is lower. We're down to at 641. So after, let's see, they offered 9 out of 10 days of corn sales, and we can't muster any strength on nearby corn. Okay, December corn, 2 3/4 higher at 563. So that spread is narrowing up today by almost 5 cents here in the early going. How about soybeans? Well, here we have the May, 7 1/4 higher now at 1435.5. It wasn't doing much around the open today, and now we're on the high of the day. And November soybeans currently 9 1/4 higher at 1282.5. So at least that's one market where we have seen an about face here already. On the wheat in Chicago, we had the May that was trading lower earlier, and now we're 3.5 cents higher at 692. So check that out. We're just a penny and a quarter off of our early high. Right now you have July gaining 3.5 cents. Kansas City wheat this morning, the May contract 6 3/4 higher. We're at 854 3/4, and look at July new crop wheat, 7 3/4 higher at 842 in Kansas City. Interesting stuff going on here. Minneapolis trade. Well, if I can do this right here, I'll try and click that again. On Minneapolis wheat, May is 5.5 higher at 863, and July is 4 higher at 864 per bushel. Well, with this in mind, I want to turn to our in-house guest, the one and only Mr. Chris Swift of Swift Trading right here in Nashville.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Yes, it is.
Kind of a surprise to see everything kind of perk up all of a sudden after the opening bell. That first report was kind of dull.
It was. Friday, though, they all ended higher. So we were kind of very surprised that everything was a little bit higher on Friday. And that continual corn purchase by China, I think, kind of slipped up on everybody by weeks in. They said, China's buying quite a bit of corn from us here recently. So I think that kind of slipped on and perked the markets up just a little bit on Friday. And then, we get a little follow through for the rest of this week, waiting for the March 31st planting intentions. That's going to be the next thing.
But it's stumbling this morning.
Just a little bit. And it's only the front end of corn. It's only the front end. So
that's
a little
true.
Spreading back and forth. Just anything to be prepared for this Friday.
Well, and that spread had gotten pretty wide.
It had, yeah. We'd seen quite a bit of movement in that.
And on soybeans too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, have you seen any evidence about farmer sales here in the last week or so? I mean, we've given up a lot of ground on corn and soybeans, and I'm sure some farmers are wondering if they missed their best opportunity for the year or not.
They may not have missed it, but there will always be opportunities. We'll get some kind of spring rally. It would be too wet, too dry. Something will happen that will give them some a little bit, but it looks like we're already going to be at maybe 180 million acres for both corn and beans this year, and it just depends on who gets the most of it. And if it starts out a little bit wet this year, then maybe we get a little bit more beans out there. If it's a little bit drier, then we get more corn out. But I think it'll be a very small difference between the two.
I saw a forecast this morning that said they looked for early April to be wet in the Corn Belt. And at the surface, I thought that would be bearish for beans and bullish for corn. And now we're opening up just the opposite. Shows what I know.
And the day's not over with yet, so that's always
proving me wrong once again. Anyway, we'll come back in a moment and we'll go ahead and take another look at our livestock trade early on a Monday right after this. Well, we're talking in studio with Chris Swift of Swift Trading. And now let's see how we're trading on the livestock trade. Now that the grain market, at least on soybeans and on wheat, is starting to firm up, let's see what cattle are doing. On live cattle futures, sharply higher, Chris. My goodness, April up $1.17, but look at June go up $1.55 at 158.15. August up $1.50 here in the early going today. On the feeders, they just went rocketing higher out of the gate. We have the April feeders now up $2.62 at 197.42, and May, what $200 resistance? Now we just now hit 201. That's up $3.45. Just leapfrog right over that $200 mark here this morning. Lean hogs, we currently have the April up $1.90, May up $1.65. June up 205. I think I should just drop the mic and leave with that. I mean, that triple-digit gains about everywhere you look on the critter market here.
Yeah.
What in the world?
You know, probably for the cattle market, it's grass. That improvement in weather that's coming in next week, and everything that goes back onto grass won't be made available for slaughter or going on feed anytime soon. So I think that's where we're probably seeing a lot of the cattle market movement is in that. Hogs got beat up over the last couple of weeks, and more likely than not, this is just kind of bringing back some of that price that they had taken off last week.
Have we gotten updated information on commitment of traders? I'm afraid to ask.
I haven't seen anything yet. I know that the live cattle market has lost tremendous amounts of open interest, probably close to 40-something thousand contracts over the last 2 weeks. The hog market had been gaining some, and the feeder market had still been gaining some as well.
I had read one headline over the weekend that China hog production was higher than anticipated. They thought maybe they had lost more to African swine fever, but apparently not. And yet here we're sharply higher today. That doesn't seem to match either.
Well, we have not been marketing a lot of pork to China anyway, so I don't think that that's as big a deal. And as far as the ASF, I think any new breakouts that we have will be quelled really quickly. Having seen some of the new hog houses that they've got, the multi-story ones there, we're in a controlled environment, feeding a controlled feed source. You can really get a lot of production in hogs very quick like that.
Interesting, the technology that they're using.
It's incredible. I mean, it truly, if you ever get a chance to see some of it, it is an incredible feat of livestock production.
How many stories was it?
26.
26 stories?
I think it's 26 stories, yeah.
Of hogs.
Of hogs.
I keep imagining the waste handling facility in there.
I don't think I want to imagine it.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you for coming in and
absolutely.
offering that image. But Chris Swift with us of Swift Trading right here